Hey everybody, this is Devin within the No Traveler Daily Writing once again. And remember, if you are watching this in your office, turn up the volume right now so that we can be together. You can hear me and I can hear you. Anyway, welcome every week, or pardon me, actually every day we talk about writing tips, we talk about do's and don'ts, about how to get your novel done, how to get things done. And today we're going to talk a little bit about when Mark Twain's writing isn't Mark Twain. First, a little bit of background. As many of you know, I am the editor-in-chief of In the No Traveler. I have an MFA in creative writing, and my memoir, 10,000 Miles with My Dead Father's Ashes, is going to be out in September, bookstores everywhere. It's very exciting stuff. And so I thought, to kind of give back to the community, the writing community that has given me so much, I thought I would just do this all the time and embrace it and have fun. And so what we're talking about today is let me tell you a story. So it wasn't that long ago where, and this has happened numerous times, where I will get an article, and sort of like the first few sentences or so of the article are just kind of like, they're okay, they're fine, there's nothing majorly wrong with them. And then what will end up happening is that the second, third, fourth paragraph is like brilliant. It's like it's two different writers entirely. And to be quite honest with you, more often than not, the two different writers are in fact two different writers, but it is only one person claiming that they wrote the story. So I remember getting one of these articles, and the prose in the second, third, and fourth paragraph was so good, I highlighted it. Oh, hey, Laura, good to see you. I hope you're well. I highlighted paragraphs 2, 3, and 4, and not surprisingly, it came back as Mark Twain. So nowhere in the article, nowhere in the letter to me, nowhere in any of this was I informed that the writer would be using Mark Twain. So the reason why I bring this up is that there are a surprising amount of letters that we get or submissions that I get from people who are trying to attempt to pass on work that isn't their own. Sometimes they take entire articles, they might be obscure articles, and they just change their name and they send it to us. This is a great way to kind of, if you want to be a writer and you're thinking, well, maybe I can get away with this, or maybe it's just a blog post, or maybe nobody else will see it, or maybe I can get away with it, or maybe this is hard, or maybe I'm on a deadline or something like that. But when you send something, you actually press the send key, and I get an article that's clearly written by two people or one person who is Mark Twain. All I can say is I will absolutely never, ever, ever work with you again. So it's really important to realize that anytime you are work, even if you're not confident, to do the absolute best that you can in order to write something that's of value. And the beautiful thing about the internet these days is that the truth of the matter is that most in-print publications have a very serious editorial chain of command to make sure things like this don't happen. It's a little bit easier in the online world to kind of get away with stuff, but the truth of the matter is it's never, ever, ever going to benefit you. And you'd be surprised how often people, especially editors, will talk to each other about who's writing well and who's writing what. And if something comes up, I guarantee you another editor is going to say to me, somebody sent you Mark Twain? Are you kidding me? And so it is a real conversation. It does you no benefit. Oh, and the point that I was trying to make about writing for the internet is that, obviously as a writer, you want to be able to tell your story and craft it well and do the very best that you can. But we're all at different levels, and that's very prevalent. So that means you don't have to write, meandering, flowery sentences like Salman Rushdie that are brilliant. Like, I have no idea how he does what he does, My job, though, isn't to be Salman Rushdie. My job is to be the best writer that I'm capable of being. And the good news is whether I'm writing these flowing, spectacular sentences or not, there is an audience for my work as long as I'm earnest, authentic, and writing some measure of truth. So always keep that in your back pocket if you have some level of fear or discomfort, or have some sort of a sense that this, that it would be easier to just take somebody else's sentence and just call it my own. Who will notice, right? This is, again, it's not something that happens hundreds of times, but one of the important things, even if you were to do it by mistake, it's important to just say, and according to Mark Twain, and put quotation marks around the paragraph or the sentence or the catchphrase or whatever it is. My buddy Jimmy says, and then utilize that. In other words, there's 100 different ways that you can utilize somebody else's work within the body of your own work, as long as you're giving them credit, as long as you are giving them sort of like a high five somewhere. As a matter of fact, what I think is ultimately appropriate, like if I receive work and somebody's been quoted, I will personally try to find where that quote comes from, and I will try to link back to it. If you want to do your editors a favor, then you will do the work. In other words, you will include the citation of what work it comes from. If it comes from the web, what's the website or what's the exact URL, which is of total benefit. So keep that in mind when you are doing your own writing and you want to use somebody else's work. Trust me, you will absolutely get better, have confidence in yourself, and over time you will continue to improve. I think that's all I have. I think we're going to probably just keep this one a short one today. But if you have a great story about, plagiarism or writing, and by the way, I think what we're probably going to do next is how to please your editors. So I think we're going to probably give a whole slew of tips that are going to be great for you anytime you are submitting an article online, anytime you are writing an imprint magazine, things that all editors, regardless of where they're at, online or in print, will appreciate. So remember, always ask your questions down here. I will answer everybody's question. If you are looking, if you have a great question, I will probably make it as a podcast. And I'm just starting to reach out to some friends and fantastic writers and editors around the country who are eventually going to be here. And so we're going to be talking about more writing tips and things to do and not to do so you can be a better writer. Anyway, thanks for today. I will see you tomorrow, Wednesday. I think that'll be the 21st. Sure will be the 21st of February, and we're going to keep our string alive by doing podcasts every day. Find me on devingallaudet.com. I will include that on the description here. We're going to be on YouTube, and we're just going to keep doing this and making the writer's world a better community, and where new writers can find some great ways to improve upon their craft. So anyway, that's what I've got today. I hope you guys are terrific, and I will look forward to seeing you guys again tomorrow. Thanks.